On another scorcher, 101 degrees, 94.1 on your dial. Ike, how you feeling, buddy?
Well, Brother Spike, I'm feeling good. You know, I was told when I was younger, milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand. Jackie Baseball, holla at your boy.
I don't get it.
It did. That was.
Yeah.
It was one of the. Was it
M&M commercial?
M&M commercial. That's right. Milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
But it still melts in your hand.
I would say if it's hot enough, yeah.
Most chocolate melts.
Yep. How you feeling, Jackie Baseball?
I'm so thrown off.
All right.
The guy doesn't have lunch one day, and he's coming in here like a philosopher.
Yes. Thinking about food. Every answer Ike's going to have today is going to be about food.
And how hungry he is.
We have a big show, as always. It's a Tuesday, so Elliot Shore Parks joins us at 3 o'clock. 3:30, very special guest Pablo Torre joins us.
Pablo!
As he and Mike Florio released a sort of a bombshell report today about the NFL and collusion
Interesting
against
how
the players.
no one's covering it.
Yeah, I wonder why ESPN's not covering it.
NFL Network not touching it.
Oh, yeah, weird. Kind of weird. But we will talk to Pablo about it today. I woke up and I read it. He sent it out this morning. I read the decision. It's like 60 pages. I was like, it looks like they did collusion. That is what it looks like. So we will have Pablo on at 3:30 rather. Top 5 at 5, all that kind of stuff. And by the way, I have a surprise for you guys. I just want to tell you, big announcement. I didn't even tell you in the meeting. Jack,
wow.
Ike. I've started doing push-ups with my backpack on.
Wow.
To add weight.
Added weight.
Yeah, I just want you to know I started doing that this morning.
One day we'll notice the difference.
Seriously.
Up yours. You're still down 20. That's the whole thing's a big lie anyway.
It's not a lie.
It's a lie. So we're 24 hours away from the NBA draft. I mean, and the shocker of all shockers, we have the number 3 pick in the first round. First round is Wednesday. Second round is Thursday. The NBA decided to stretch out the very exciting NBA draft over 2 years. But things have changed over the last, several months, and specifically over the last several weeks in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. And what has changed is an already weak Eastern Conference has gotten even weaker. Tyrese Halliburton's out next year. Jason Tatum's out next year. They also traded Drew Holiday. The Celtics did, so they're not much of a threat, right? The Milwaukee Bucks lost Damian Lillard. They're not going to be much of a threat next year, and the East is wide open. So we have this number 3 pick, and I understand the allure of the prospects. Take a great prospect. It's the future, blah, 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 blah. They need to trade down with that pick and get themselves either another pick or, even more importantly, a player in the rotation for next year to help us win next year. We have a Joel Embiid that is still 30 years old. We have Paul George on a $50 million a year contract. We have Tyrese Maxey, who's at an all-star level. And we have a team that could potentially, and if you think they can't, you're a little bit crazy, potentially for the Eastern Conference next year. I want the Sixers to trade back. Get a player you can add to that rotation, add depth, get somebody at 7, 8, 9, whoever you get, whoever's left over of all these guys, because they're all pretty much the same at this point, and go to win the Eastern Conference next year. Trade back is the way. That is what I would prefer they do tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear this stuff, and I get nervous that we're trying to outthink ourselves in this situation. If I'm already going to be committed to having Joel Embiid and Paul George with Tyrese Maxey as our lead dogs next year, and we're not stripping the team down, and I'm okay with that. I want to make that clear. I'm on board with that. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm on board with running it back with these guys. Would they play 15 games together this year, something
15,
like that? All
7
three
and
guys.
8. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm okay with running it back for a year. But here's where the Sixers have lucked into a good situation that they can't fumble. They can't fumble this situation. Now, it's not the number 1 pick. It's not a clear-cut franchise player there for you at number 3 that it's an easy choice for you. But damn it, this is why Daryl gets paid the big bucks. He gets paid. And I hope they've done their due diligence and their homework, and they have a vision for that number 3 pick that involves one of these players. Get me the best young player right here, because I'm still thinking about Maxey and McCain and this kid, who's ever at number 3 that we take, for the future. Because if next year doesn't work out, let's say Embiid and George somehow go through something similar they went through this year where they miss a lot of games. And
entirely possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
So say that happens. We are certainly going to be looking to dump everybody after next year. We don't have our pick next year.
No, we
so
don't.
we can't have that. So when are we going to get the chance to get this caliber of player? And again, I'm going to leave that to the experts and their homework and what they've done. But we need a player at 3 that we can add to McCain and Maxey, at least part as a vision moving forward. We got to take the best young player there. And, I mean, listen, throw a name in the hat and come out with that guy, whoever you may like. But we need that player at number 3. I'm not necessarily thinking about trading that for another veteran player somewhere else to add to these guys. We got enough guys here already.
I don't think we do, actually. To be honest with you, I think what they need to do is fill out the roster. What they need, I'm watching those finals, and I'm thinking, how many of our guys that are currently on this roster can play in those finals? And it's not a very long list, right? Mm-hmm. You assume Quentin Grimes will be back. Okay, he can play. Kelly Oubre is athletic and can play defense. If he's on the team, he can be there too. They need 8 guys.
The Edwards kid?
Justin Edwards. Yeah, Justin Edwards, nice little player. Little player, absolutely. They need a deeper team. And if they trade back, and by the way, the other thing is, and for all of the things that Daryl Morey, that everybody here says Daryl Morey has done wrong, Daryl Morey has also drafted very well later on in the draft. And he's done that even before he got here. 2 crucial pieces of this team moving forward are Jared McKean, who we got at 16, Tyrese Maxey, who we got at 21. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. This number 3 pick is an opportunity to get 2 things, not just one thing. To get a player that can potentially help us this year and get a pick, pick at 8, pick at 7, whoever that is, whoever's left over, I'm fine with. I just think it is a mistake to not try to get better this year and try to capitalize on the Eastern Conference this year by adding a player who can play this year. Look, if the rookie can play this year in addition to this, that's great. If we can get 15 minutes out of him, that's great. But I'm not stuck on some sort of project at 3 who's going to be our future, who might not even play for the next 2 years for the Sixers anyway. Get me a guy who can play with us next year, and then with whoever's left, wherever they pick, then we can take that young player. But I don't need to get whoever the highest upside guy is at 3 in this particular draft. I want to compete this year.
Yeah, and we're going to have to compete on the backs of Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. That's why I look at it. We're going to compete on their back, and everybody else are just added pieces that can help out. What I'm saying is, if I'm going to be okay as a Sixers fan, running it back with Embiid and Paul George and Maxey, what I also want as a Sixer fan, since we have the number 3 pick, because I'm only halfway in belief in that trio of getting anything done significantly next year. Well, I want the insurance and the assurance that I have a young core in place that I don't have to start at rock bottom in 2027.
That stuff never works. It never works. I just don't think it works.
You're right. Sometimes, listen, here's all I know. I look at the OKC Thunder.
Yep.
And I say to myself, somehow they were able to get it done.
Well, but everybody was the same age then. I mean, yes, they turned over, but remember, they were turning over Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden and Serge Ibaka.
I'm at the second, the one when they did with Paul George and Carmelo.
Oh, yeah, they ended up being pretty good. They ended up being pretty good.
No, I mean, after they
went
got those guys,
sure,
and how they transformed into what they are now.
Absolutely. But they were able to trade Paul George for 4 first-round picks. Made it a little bit easier. What I do is I look at the Warriors. The Warriors tried to do this thing where they drafted players for the future and competed right then. And here's what they ended up with. They ended up with James Wiseman, who's not on the team anymore.
He's terrible.
Jonathan Kuminga, who's not going to be on the team anymore. Moses Moody, who ended up not being anything. Mm-hmm. If these players don't get time to play, they're never going to be the thing that you think they are anyway. So I just want to try to win now. If we got to rebuild after next year, we'll rebuild after next year. 215-592-9494. Do you want the Sixers to trade back, or do you want them to take whoever has the highest upside at 3? Jack, what are you thinking?
Trade back.
Oh, you're a trade back guy?
We're going for Knipple. I mean, come on, whatever it takes. We don't need to take him at 3. We don't
Why not?
Well, listen.
Well, if you think he's the best guy, just take him.
No, you can get a little bit more, though. We're all about squeezing those assets as much as we can squeeze those assets.
Yeah, squeeze it.
Yeah, squeeze it. You add him to this mix. He's a winner.
But if you trade, can I be straight with you? If you trade back, you have to be willing to just take whoever's there. You can't trade back and still.
Could go at 4.
He could go 4.
They get to the 4th pick and get an extra thing from Charlotte. I don't care. Make it happen, Daryl.
Well, listen, that's also a part of this, right? It's part of the equation where you're trading back.
Sure.
So if you're telling me I'm trading back to 4 or 5, and I still get the player that I ultimately wanted, I'm okay with that. But if you're telling me we're trading back to 7 or 8,
I think that's possible.
I don't want 7 or 8. Yeah.
All right.
The priority is still next year, though. That's the main point.
For me, the priority is next year.
Yeah, find someone.
No, that's not the priority.
It is the priority.
That's not the priority.
They're right there.
That's not the priority.
We live in this fantasy land where everyone just hates the Sixers so much you can't see what's right in front of you, which is a path to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we're just so it's just ripped in the sand to where we're just so negative and negative and negative.
I wonder why.
It's right there. It's right there. You got to give this team a shot.
How's it right there when we don't know what Paul George or Joel Embiid is?
We know what Paul George can still stand in a corner and hit a 3. Okay, he can still do that.
You don't need more than that.
Okay, well he faked whatever injury he had last year. He's going to come back and be fine.
Yeah, he faked this 2 hyperextended knees.
Well, whatever was in the second half of the year. Well, on the finger or whatever that was.
The finger.
Well, I do agree.
Maxey missed time with what again?
What? Yeah, that was made up.
That was questionable there.
Well, I mean, in the Eastern Conference, who are we scared of? Really? The Cavs and the Knicks will be good. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Are we worried about the Orlando Magic? Or are we I don't even the Atlanta Hawks?
If I'm being honest with you, no, what I'm worried about is whether or not we're going to be available to play. So I have no assurance of that. So I can't just put all my eggs in the basket next year trying to win, because this is egg on your face if Embiid plays 30 games next year or Paul George plays 30 games next year. Both of them play 30 games next year. Then what? Then what do we have?
Then we have the same thing. You still have Jared McCain. You still have Tyrese Maxey. You still got a Clippers pick. You still got whoever you took at 7. It's fine. It's fine.
Who am I getting at 7? You're the center from Duke?
No. Please, not him. Please,
exactly.
Not him.
What am I doing?
I just think
7?
like we are.
This guy from Illinois. Who is this? Carmen?
If we don't think about winning next year, we're gonna there is a serious chance we're gonna regret it. I don't think we'll regret picking at 8 or whatever it is. If we don't try to win next year, if we don't use this to get a couple of things and try to win next year, we're going to regret it. We do have a next question today.
Yeah.
It was Howie Roseman's 50th birthday yesterday. And
welcome to the 50 Club.
Yeah, welcome. Well, I'm not there.
You're not there.
I don't even know what it's like. I'm a young one. I am. But Howie, as we know, had a big comeback, right? Howie had the chip era when his office got moved in the back, got put in charge of equipment, and now he's being talked about as a Hall of Fame executive in the NFL.
Best GM in football.
So, for next question today, based on Howie, who had a big comeback? Anyone who had a big comeback can be in sports, can be in movies, can be in music. Jack, would you like to kick us off?
Always.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't take Ike's answer.
You better not take my answer.
But in 2019, when Tiger came back and won the Masters after not winning for 11 years since Torrey Pines in 2008, that he won on a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What a comeback.
Wasn't even close. He lapped the field.
That was awesome.
Come on, GOAT. One more run.
I did not think of Tiger in this situation, but I am in the sports
Okay.
world,
All right. I was worried you would take mine, so I have one non-sports.
I'm going George Foreman.
Oh, Foreman had an excellent comeback.
So I'm going his comeback from being a heavyweight champion to going to be a preacher and then getting back into boxing and becoming a great pitchman.
Yeah.
George Foreman, man. George Foreman, who I had only heard stories about and saw highlights of in his boxing days prior to his comeback. When he came back, man, he beat my guy Evander Holyfield, too.
I was at that fight.
Did he beat Holyfield? Or
Holyfield won that.
Yeah, Holyfield beat him.
I got to see that fight at Atlantic City. Holyfield Foreman.
Man,
well, of course.
What a fight. And I knocked out Michael Moore. That's who it was.
Who? George Foreman.
George Foreman did to win the heavyweight championship.
Let me guess, you were the towel boy?
No, we were sitting ringside. Of course, we went in a limo there and back, and actually, we had George Foreman drive the limo back.
Yeah, and you also bit off Evander Holyfield's ear.
I did. Yeah.
Different fight.
By the way, George Foreman is a good comeback story, even without the grill and the like. Just from a sports standpoint, the fact that he became a meaningful boxer again,
became heavyweight champion again.
Mine is Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart went to jail. Lost everything.
Martha went to jail.
And then built up the empire again. Somehow now has cred. Snoop Dogg with Martha Stewart, all that. So
Still wondering about Snoop and Martha.
Yeah, well, look, that would be a good notch off on the old belt, right? Martha Stewart.
Martha looks good.
It'd be a good story. If nothing else, I'm married. I would never, of course. But if I were like Snoop, All right.
That was a good pairing.
215-592-9494. Do you want the Sixers to concentrate on this year, trade back, or just take whoever is the best player at 3? 215-592-9494. Also, next question today. Give us somebody who had a big comeback in honor of Howie Roseman's 50th birthday yesterday.